Hi, my name is Julia. So today I'll be talking a little bit about how to set the tone for your first contact in a cold call, cold email, or cold LinkedIn message. So these are my best practices, and I've used cold calling as a technique for developing a lot of my projects, whether that's lead generation and calling nursing homes to donate free face shields, finding subject matter experts for a very specific medical device project that I was working on in school, or even applying for internships and finding out more about a company or a specific team before I applied. So starting with this LinkedIn screen, you can see here I am premium, but you can sign up for a free 30-day free trial and get in-mail messages, which allow you to directly message anyone, whether they're in your network or not. Another feature of this is that if they reply to your initial cold message, you actually get that in-mail credit back. So you can make those 5 credits really last long if you send messages that are short, brief, to the point, and get them to respond with even just a no thank you. So crafting that message is really critical. I'm going to go through some examples of a real project. So the project I'm talking about is called Headway, but all the other names and companies are fake. So let's start with an email example. So this is an example cold email. I start off with a very formal tone, but same thing as the LinkedIn messages, keep it really brief. So start with a pleasantry and a very short introduction of myself, as well as the project that I'm representing. This is a fake link, random link. I give the reason why I'm reaching out and how I found out about this person or their company. And if possible, try to give a very specific reason why I'm reaching out and what I'm hoping to gain from this conversation. Then lastly, in bold, the ask, which is, would you be willing to have a 15-minute phone call? So this call to action is very brief, very simple, to the point. And I'm not trying to establish one-time connection. I'm really trying to develop a relationship. If it's someone that is interested in the product as well and interested in me, we'll continue to have multiple calls discussing different aspects of it. If they're not interested, you just have one short phone call and then you can both move on with your days. So really setting the stage and not asking for too much right off the bat and just seeing if both parties are interested. The second one is to be really organized, especially when you're cold calling a lot of people or you're reaching out to a lot of people for subject matter expertise. You want to have a running list of everyone you've reached out to as well as their contact info. This relationship management is really important in the beginning when you're not familiar with these people that you're cold calling because you've never met them before. And having detailed notes of how they've helped you will help later, which I try to do here. So if you're in a team, having a point person for contact, so everyone on the team is aware of who you're reaching out to. Having the email, whether you've contacted them and they've replied, when you actually talk to them, and any notes from that conversation. Lastly, this is a real interview protocol, but I took out the names. This was when we were trying to learn a very specific thing around how to develop a medical device and sell it into hospitals and what that process was like. So we had very targeted, specific questions that we prepared, and I don't think we covered all of them in the interview, but it let us guide the conversation to hit those key points. I'm not going to go too far into it. But the last thing to note would be that when you finish your project or you hit major milestones, it's best practice to share back to all of the people you've reached out to and send them a quick update on the project, as well as how they've specifically helped you. And so we would go through, as a team, we went through and sent thank you messages to everyone involved, informing them about what we've accomplished so far, as well as what our next steps are. And so that means you're not just asking for help and then never talking to them again. So once again, building relationships and not just one-time contact. So I hope that's helpful. And lastly, I just wanted to give a point that networking has a bad reputation sometimes, but for me, it's more about being a giver than a taker, and trying to develop value through connecting people and building social capital, which is something that I hope you all get a chance to try out through the Kinetic Creators program. For example, connecting people from different places or different networks where they might find value from talking to each other or learning from each other. Yeah, so that's my quick how-to start off reaching out to people for your project. Thank you.